Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. I would stand up, but I want to be able to see my screen here. Before we get started, I do want to give you a little background about where I came from. This was one thing, Jenna, that I forgot to do in the last one. So I have history with the Animal Rescue League. So I started especially with Dedham. So here in Dedham back in 2000, I want to say 2002, I started here as a volunteer. And one of those things where I wanted a dog and my dad wouldn't let me. So I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to go volunteer. And he was like, fine, go. And then that's what happened. So I did not get a dog, however. But I teamed up with the dog trainer that was here at the time and worked with her. And basically she taught me everything I know. And I had a career in regular corporate, did my thing. But then a grant funded program came to the Animal Rescue League in 2008. And I saw there was a position available in that department, in the behavior department, which was super exciting. So made a huge career shift, pay cut and everything, and jumped right into it and worked for Pet Behavior Care and the Center for Shelter Dogs, which was a grant-funded program that was created to improve the lives of shelter dogs. So it was shelter dog focused. Within that time, however, and before that, I was doing pet sitting, and I also was a part of the Pet Behavior Helpline, if you guys are familiar with the Animal Rescue League's behavioral helpline. So I got a lot of both species, cat and dog, experience through the helpline. And then with Pet Behavior Care, they saw appointments, behavior appointments both with cat and dog. So I was able to get a lot of experience with that. Then in 2000 and oh goodness, I can't remember. But anyways, within that time, I became the behavior program supervisor. So I became the person through the grant-funded program of Center for Shelter Dogs that would take the programs that were created to improve the lives of shelter dogs and take them and implement them in all of the shelters. So all of the Animal Rescue League locations, and then I traveled around the country to other shelters that were implementing our programs. And those programs were the Match Up to Shelter Dog Rehoming Program, which is part of our behavioral evaluation process for dogs. We also created behavior modification plans for almost every behavior issue that comes through when people are doing the Match Up to Shelter Dog Rehoming program. So programs such as possessive aggression, food aggression, fear of people. So we have plans to work with dogs that are fearful of people, and then also with dogs that are jumpy mouthy. So we have protocols that we would put into place and train people on in order to, again, improve the lives of shelter dogs, in addition to doing a ton of work with enrichment and just changing the ways that the shelters would work with their dogs, not just providing them with the basics, so food, water, shelter. We would create food puzzles and extra walks and different things that volunteers and staff could get involved in. And so my job at that time was to implement those programs. So that was my time here. The grant then ended, so of course I had to look for another job, so I did, and then continued my work with dogs. So, and I became a certified professional dog trainer and did my own training business and so on and so forth. So that's sort of my history, and I just wanted to give you an idea of where I was coming from. When I left, unfortunately, it was tough for the Animal Rescue League to go from a group of people in a behavior department to one, so that transition was really tough. In addition to that, the person that did come in wasn't here for all the things that we had done with the center, so a lot of things got lost in translation. So my goal in coming back is that I would like to start implementing some of these protocols and programs again, because they worked well and I was able to see them work. And my goal with all of the trainings that we've been doing and all the contact that we've had within the past 6 months since I came here is to really start utilizing our experienced and the people and also inexperienced volunteers that want to learn. So my hope is with the program is that we can create a place that has very skilled volunteers and also will help people that really are interested in working in behavior. So that's my goal, because we could not do it without you guys. Like, definitely not. I worked with volunteers when I was here before, and that was key to helping the program grow. So that being said, without further ado, I will be implementing a new program with our canine and feline mod squad, so that it is a more trained group, so that your handling skills will be improved by going through the program that we're talking about today. So that those people that are working with these dogs, so the mod squad group of people that are working with the dogs, are the ones that are able to go over and above doing some of the behavior modification plans that we'll be putting into place. So we'll get started. Any questions before I continue? No? Okay. Great. So just to go back a little bit for a second, let's talk a little bit about what the responsibilities of green volunteers. So you may have heard these terms going around. My hope was to bring some of them back again. One big thing was rewarding calm behavior in quiet kennel. As we all know, rewarding calm behavior in quiet kennel is huge in keeping a quiet, calm, cool, collected population of dogs, which then trickles down to a quiet, calm population of both other species and humans, for sure. Automatic sit helps with the dogs in basic training, so that they're offering sit behaviors versus jumping and being crazy. So these are the things that the green volunteers should be able to know: rewarding calm behavior, quiet kennel, automatic sit, exit strategy, know what the stickers mean. So when there's a sticker on the dog's kennel card, know how to read all the signage within the kennel, and know just obvious body language. So nothing super crazy, but just simple body language. You'll have to know how to record important behavioral and medical observations. I don't know if Dedham does the clipboards, but Boston has clipboards at the end of each kennel. Okay. And then know how to remove green sticker dogs from the kennel. So they're fairly easy. And how to properly hold and handle a leash, and be familiar with the Easy Walk harness and how it works and what the purpose of it is, not so much needing to know how to put it on or fit it just yet. So with our green volunteers, what we're saying is, yes, you come in right out of the gate as a green volunteer, and then to become a blue volunteer, we're implementing a mentorship program with blue level volunteers. So those blue level volunteers will be mentoring the green volunteers in order to get them up to par with what is required to become a blue volunteer. So moving on to blue volunteers, their responsibilities and knowledge should be knowing all of the green level volunteer, all of the things that the green volunteers should know, and know how to safely remove green and blue sticker dogs from their cages, know how to put an Easy Walk on an excitable dog. So you might get the lower level excitable dog, but you'd still be able to handle them without too much concern. Know how to put an Easy Walk on an excitable dog, like I said. Know about body language and how to judge when a dog is demonstrating that it is not safe to get a dog out of their kennel. Be familiar with the concerning behavioral issues such as jumpy mouthy, fear of people, possessive aggression, and leash reactivity. And be familiar with how to play retrieve and tug with excitable blue stickered dogs. We'll talk about that. And then there are optional mentor opportunities. So it does not mean that if you become a blue level volunteer that you have to become a mentor. That is not. This is always, always, always optional. That being said, the mentorship program will have a checklist of the criteria required for green volunteers to blue level, which Jenna is currently working on right now and will have together within the next couple of weeks. And then the blue volunteers will have the option to become a mentor to the green. So here is a little bit about where we're going to go with Mod Squad. So Mod Squad will be green and blue certified. So it's going to be not so much about the amount of time that you've put in, but it's really going to be about the amount of experience that you've had as a volunteer here with us. Must be proficient in recognizing and interpreting canine body language. Be able to comfortably handle and work with challenging dogs that have fear of people, food aggression, leash reactivity, and jumpy mouthy behaviors. Must be able to implement the class program. So we'll talk a little bit about that afterwards, but the class program is an organized, structured program called Canine Life and Social Skills. And what it is, it's designed to be a much more structured plan so that every dog that's on this plan, all the volunteers will be working on the same stuff, whether it be a sit, down, stay, whatever, with those particular dogs, so that as the dog progresses up the chain of learning all of the behaviors within that criteria or curriculum, they will then become, they actually get their bachelor's degree. So it's a really cool program. So they go from a bachelor's, a master's, and they could go all the way to PhD. So if you guys are familiar with the Lukes of the world, if you remember Luke, he was here for quite a long time. So if we were doing this program, he probably would have been one of the dogs that made it up to PhD. So it's a really nice program. One of the veterinary behaviorists that worked with us at the Center for Shelter Dogs helped create the Canine Life and Social Skills program. So I do plan to bring that back. Using the class program, Mod Squad volunteers must know how to effectively teach basic cues and know when to use them in specific scenarios. So we're literally setting up the dog to go home and be a fine dog in the home. Must be proficient in putting on and fitting equipment such as an easy walk harness, a head halter, field harness, and a martingale collar, and also knowing how to use all of those. Must have the knowledge of the basic principles of rewards and punishment and what the ARL policies are regarding training. So then this is moving even more into working with these programs. These enrichment and wellness and shelter wellness programs are something that should be done as basic protocol. So you guys, it leaves you guys available to be able to work on these really big, heavy behavior modification programs. So all of the above is all stuff that should already be happening as a baseline protocol within the shelter. Exit strategies, say please, or automatic sit, treat buckets, rewarding calm behavior, quiet kennel, quiet time, sort of what we're doing with Wyatt. He's being ignored, he can hang out and relax, and it's quiet time. We don't always have to be touching him, petting him, whatever. Play group, which we will be bringing back with hopefully the help of Mod Squad. Food dispensing toys. So these are all enrichment that, again, it's a list of things that would be out there as protocols. Just right off the top, this is what we do. It's just what we do. Office fosters when they're available, and games. Must be proficient in using Chameleon. That's going to be a huge requirement, but we'll have training for that. Must always be welcoming and helpful to any and all staff and volunteers, so that it can be a self-sustaining program. So the Mod Squad volunteers will be trained in such a way that they'll probably be as close to a staff member as possible, but be volunteers. That does not at all mean that it's going to require extra time from you. Your shifts will just be way more productive, okay? So you'll have a much better handle on what you're supposed to be doing and when. But when you do have volunteers that you're working with, or you see, you guys are going to be the ones that they're looking up to, and you guys are the ones that the Mod Squad, are going to be the ones that are going to be teaching others how to do the program just by what you're doing. It doesn't have to be the mentorship type program, but just by being there and having a Mod Squad shirt on, they know Mod Squad means they know what they're doing. I need to ask them questions. So you guys will be representing the behavior department as a program. Must complete and pass the Mod Squad practical and written tests. I don't know why that says evaluations. I meant to change that. Okay. So the cool part and the exciting fun part is, because of all that being basic protocol, should already be happening, this is what you guys get to get involved in. You'll be assisting in behavior modification programs after the appropriate training. You'll be conducting treatment plans for fear of people, food aggression, jumpy mouthy, and all other behaviors. When Center for Shelter Dogs was here and continuing now, we do end up being the type of shelter or the place that people go to, because people actually think that we are able to adopt out more difficult animals because of the programs that we have. I would love for that to continue. And again, this is why I'm bringing the program back. But these are truly behaviors that we are now able to adopt out within reason, of course. Again, playgroup assistant after appropriate training. So we will be offering playgroup, I promise. Behavioral evaluation. So you will be a part of that Match Up to shelter dog rehoming program. One of the huge pieces is we always have to have one staff member, but if we have, it requires 2 people and one will be a staff member at all times. However, if I have a volunteer that's interested in participating in that, it just takes the heat off of one more staff member so they can go do other things that they need to do. Plus, it's really cool. It's a nice way to learn about the dogs. Mod Squad volunteer training and mentoring. There's always room for mentoring. Adoption agent volunteer for dogs. So you will actually be trained and you'll at least know and have an idea of what is required in order to adopt an animal from us. So again, if a client comes in and they're interested in the dogs, they see that shirt, whatever it might mean, but they'll ask you questions and you'll be able to spout off exactly what it is that's needed to help them out. So that is an idea of what's going to be happening as far as what the job will entail and so on and so forth. I do want to stop there just for a second to answer any questions before we move on. So any questions? Anyone need any clarification on anything? Awesome.
Do you already have written
Yes.
treatment plans for these different types of behaviors?
Yep.
And that's something that we can get.
That's what I'll be using. Yep. And that's what the training will go into. Yep. Seriously, like it's funny because such blood, sweat, and tears went into all of this. So the good news is it's already done. Like I'm not recreating anything. I'm just bringing it back from the dead, so to speak, which is super exciting for me. Okay. So where are we going? So in order to become a Mod Squad, we will be requiring a 6-session course, 1 hour every other week for 6 weeks. I'm doing it every other week and nothing has been scheduled yet. Let me just start with that. Nothing has been scheduled yet. The reason I'm doing it every other week is because everyone's super busy. I know that. The other reason is because I want to give you a chance to absorb and practice and so on the stuff that we go over because it's going to be fairly complicated, you know? So I want to give you that couple of weeks to sort of practice. Dates and times are dependent on the group's availability. Allowed 1 absence, so we will work closely to make it as easy as possible for people to attend. This may not start until mid-June. I'm in no rush to do this because I have a nice core group of people right now, and I'm hopefully meeting with you guys and having experience with you guys enough to make it so that you can at least get through. But because I do want to make it so that it works for as many people as possible, because this particular piece of it is a pretty good time-consuming part. So I want to set you guys up for success, and I want to make it so that you're able to attend, but also my schedule at the very moment is ridiculous. Okay, so there will be a written and practical exam required at the end, and we'll prepare you for the exams. That's sort of what essentially the program is going to be for, is to make sure that you're ready and feeling comfortable with everything that we're doing. And that's basically the program in a nutshell. So.
What happens to existing Mod Squad?
Thank you.
I
Okay, so existing Mod Squad / red volunteers will currently be considered red. You'll still be able to work the red dogs, and that will continue as is, okay? We will, however, be making it so that there'll only be 3 groups. So it will be green, blue, and Mod Squad. So if you're red right now, you'll stay there, but there will not be an option to go from blue to red. It's going to be just those 3. So essentially, the current red / Mod Squad will be grandfathered in for that, but in order to be considered Mod Squad, like, I don't know what else to call it,
Yeah.
have to go through this, okay? And the only reason I'm doing that is because I have to have a good handle, since I'm now here having to run this behavior department. I need to have a good handle on what people are doing and not able to do and need more help with, and so on and so forth. So I'm sort of building it from the beginning again. However, again, those people that are currently red are able to still work at your own comfort level with those red dogs. And it all depends on when we're able to actually schedule these. Like if I have to wait till the fall, I'll have to put some markers in place, you know, because I don't want things to run stagnant either. The other thing that we are doing as a group is we're also looking into how the colors are determined for the actual dogs and cats, but how the colors are determined, because I'm running into roadblocks as far as, oh, we have this tiny little population of green, sometimes a big population of blue, sometimes not, and then sometimes a big population of red, and my volunteer versus dog availability is not matching up. So I will be working on trying to fix that criteria too. And also, the other problem is especially specifically here in Dedham, we do have some long-term dogs that have been here for a really long time that, you know, they're red stickered, but that limits the amount of time that they can actually get out. So it's working against us. So I'm trying to put some Band-Aids / you know, something into place in order to sort of help that issue at the moment. So doing a little damage control with that at the moment. Hopefully that's not the norm and we can continue moving forward. Excuse me, but for right this minute, that's what I'm going to try to do. So does that sound okay? Any other questions? Wow. Oh my God.
We talked for like an hour in the other
Yeah. Does that make sense? Does it sound good? Does it sound
Do
good?
you hate it? Do you
I know,
love
like-
it? What are we feeling?
I definitely need some feedback. I will stop the recording, by the way.
Lainey,
What's that?
this is Jamie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm just wondering, so those of us, just to clarify, those of us who already went through the 6-week Mod Squad training will do it again with
Yep.
you.
This is completely different because I was not there.
Okay.